I'd like to bring up how we're all in love with the historic town of Berlin, myself included. That doesn't mean that we can't progress as a town and have new technology that helps us advance ourselves far beyond our facade. That's one thing that I think is very important for everybody to understand. We can have a historic facade, but we need to have that technology in place so that we can increase revenue, so that we can do better processes and save money for the town. Another thing I would like to touch on is Berlin Falls Park. I'm for a skate park. I don't know if I'm for a for-profit skate park. I think that our kids need a place to be able to go. I like the model that Ocean Pines has. However, I look at Ocean City and they operate in a net loss. You can see that every day of the week. Look at their books. They operate in a net loss. I don't want us to do that. And another thing, we have bond payments that come due for Berlin Falls Park, so we need to find a way to generate some revenue. Like I said, I don't think that's a skate park. One thing that really does concern me, I used to be a career paramedic in Ocean City, and we had something called sandboxes. There was a little boy, I believe he was 8 years old, and he lost his life in the lagoon at Northside Park. We have lagoons at our park, and I think that we need to look at installing some form of a safety measure for the kids, that if somebody falls in, they're able to grab a ring, it automatically calls 911, and somebody's able to help these kids. Because I've seen kids die, and I don't want to see that at our park. So that's something we need to focus on, and with the winter season coming, it needs to be one of the top priorities. Thank you.
Jack?
I think everyone knows or has picked up on that the party is in Berlin, and everybody is trying to get in. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but you don't invite guests to your house to have a party and then make you leave. I think there are some things that we need to address, like the something that along the lines of design standards for developers to follow, so it's not necessarily so all over the place. One of my passions, as I've mentioned, is the Berlin Falls Park, and I think that Mr. Tyndall brings up a good point with the lagoons and water. Working in the parks, we've always had lifeguard training and everything like that. So that is something definitely we need to look into and see the best way and the safest way to get Berlin Falls Park off the ground. And I really think that's going to be a focal point for the town. I still want to keep stressing that it's the people and the small town charm that make Berlin what it is. And even though I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't lucky enough to be born here, I picked up on that right away, and that's something I think everybody here can agree that we don't want to lose in the future, no matter what route we take and whatever obstacles come the town's way. Those are the main points that I'd like to leave you with here tonight. There's a lot of history in Berlin, some recent history that I think we can come together as a community and get past, and we can work together towards a great future. Thanks so much.
Well, I have to say, first of all, thanks for the opportunity these last two terms to serve as mayor. It's been one of the most challenging, rewarding experiences of my life, and I'd like to serve another term because I believe that I have a responsibility and not just an opportunity to finish putting in place some of the key foundation blocks that have allowed our community to go from desperation to opportunity. Certainly we have some challenges, but we have many opportunities. I think we are on course to meet the challenges that are ahead of us. None of them are in any way an imminent threat to the way of life that we have worked so long to create. I think that's, some people want to make you believe that any growth is a threat to our quality of life, and that's just not so. It's how you grow, how you place your assets, what you do with what you have, and keeping in mind that we have to plan not just for 4 years or for the rest of this decade. We have to prepare for the generations that will follow. In my case, I know I'm very concerned about making sure we do that in the best possible way, because my daughter, son-in-law, and my grandchildren live here in Berlin. I know that many of you hope that you will be in the same situation at some point in time. And so I'm not here to say, okay, let's just do whatever we want to do and then not worry about the consequences. It's quite the opposite. I think that by putting our different, various assets in our community to their best use, having a plan for what our growth limits will be, not tomorrow, but for the immediate generations that follow, and maintaining our ongoing balance between economic opportunity and quality of life. I think that's precious to all of us. I don't believe, and I know from years of working with smart growth does not mean no growth. And it doesn't mean highly restricted growth. It means smart growth. What is right for our community? We do not have to do what they did between Baltimore and Washington. And we're not. It's not even on the table. But we do have to create a place where we can be self-sufficient and sustainable for not just the next few years, not just for the lifetime of the people in this room, but for the lifetime of this community, which is hopefully going to be far beyond the 21st century. And I appreciate your support in the past, and hope I'll have an opportunity to continue to serve in the 4 years ahead. Thank you.
I want to thank Coastal Association of Realtors for having this forum. This has been a very nice evening, very informative, very well done. I've enjoyed my 8 years on the council as well. I've been across the state and I've met a lot of people, and I like to talk, and I have met a lot of people, and it's been very rewarding and interesting. I like the idea that municipal government is kind of non-partisan. I don't know half the people, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, I don't care. We just work together on committees for a common cause. And that's, I think, the nice part about municipal government. But I would really like to protect Berlin. I'd like to work for the residents of Berlin. I'd like to see something done with the Tyson property and not necessarily all be about Berlin. I mean, I think there's opportunities there if we reach out to do industrial or other business type things there. It doesn't have to be all of a park and 60-some acres. It's right on the corner of Route 50 and 113, location. There could be some kind of Freeman stage there. I just think the opportunity for the town to secure that 70 acres to prevent it from being bought by an out-of-state developer, etc. At least we now can control what's being done there, and I'm sure if we look, there's a lot of opportunities there. I've worked real close with Worcester Youth and Family. It's a great nonprofit organization. It's all about, the mental health and care and well-being of the community. And I'm on the Rural Maryland Council, and that's one of the things in government now. They're talking about people's mental health care, and that we need to pay attention to that that's the future of this country. And on the shore, there's very limited mental health care, and Worcester Youth and Family does a wonderful job. I would love to see in the future maybe be able to renovate with some grant money a part in the Tyson plant and let them have a long-standing lease there, and partner with the town, partner with the police department, maybe do programs with youth that are first-time offenders, to try to break that cycle immediately. I mean, there's just a lot of good things there. We just have so much going on with a lot of other developments that we really haven't been able to put our time into the Tyson plant, and hopefully if someone's hired, then we can do that. But I would also like to use my council member strength. Council member Purnell, he is a developer on the Eastern Shore. If I ever met with a developer or somebody that wanted to develop in Berlin, I would want him at my right arm, looking out for the best interests on the town, flipping the hat around. Paula Lynch was always great with financials. I could call Paula and ask her about financials. Councilmember Borelli worked for Shore Up forever, retired from them. He's very strong with grant and communicating, has a lot of networking, but I would really like to work with my council members and use their strengths.